O'Reilly. Are your wiper blades chattering, skipping, or squeaking? Don't let streaks or smearing on your windshield compromise your visibility. When it's time to replace your wiper blades, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and see our selection. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades while you wait. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today. After 3 years of work, our follow-up to the Meat Eater Fish and Game Cookbook is here. It's the Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, campfire, and camp stove. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry. With pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Get your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com or buy it wherever books are sold.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 19 of the Hunting Collective. I'm Ben O'Brien, and today I am joined by ShedCrazy, also known as Ben Dettamanti. And Ben, if I'm saying your name wrong, your last name, I'm sorry, but your first name is awesome. I was joined by Ben for episode number 19 in Terry Peak, South Dakota at the Total Archery Challenge. Once again, just like episode 18, we hopped into Sam Sohol's public lands bus to talk about Ben's life and times. Ben is a shed hunter out of Utah, and he started an online persona that he calls ShedCrazy. And it is, if you're not following his Instagram account or his other social media accounts, it's a laugh a day, a laugh a minute, man. The dude is hilarious. And so I wanted to catch up with him, see if I could get him to make us all laugh, but also get a bit of his perspective on social media, a bit of his perspective on the landscape of how people become popular in that venue, and talk about some of our other famous topics that we've discussed in previous episodes. So, with all that said, please enjoy episode number 19, ShedCrazy. Well, both of our names are Ben.
This could get confusing.
How are we going to do this?
I don't know how are we going to refer to each other?
Hey, Ben.
Ben
Thanks,
one
Ben.
here.
Thanks, Ben. Ben O'Brien. Ben. Never had another Ben on the podcast.
Good.
Thanks for being my first other Ben. How's it feel like being a Ben? Is that you feel that's a special privilege, or it's a burden cross to bear?
I feel like it's a pretty good name. 3 letters. That keeps it right on my level. So
you ever go
good.
Benjamin?
That's the full name is Benjamin. So I never do use it though. I've managed to avoid it for most of my life. I did grow up next door to another kid named Ben. He's my best friend growing up. So I was always Benjamin. He was always Ben Uri.
Ben Uri?
Yeah. So if he's listening,
what's up, man?
Shout him out.
Shout him out. Ben Uri. What's up?
It's a random way.
I was always Benny. I don't know why. Maybe because I seem a little like a smaller person.
Childish.
I can human. See that. Yeah, Benny.
Mm-hmm.
Benny OB. Whatever people. Well, thanks for joining me here at the Total Archery Challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, happy to do it.
We did shoot today. Oh, we didn't shoot today. It's raining outside. It's
no,
terrible.
No.
But we did shoot yesterday, and you shot an apple.
Yes.
Off of a deer's nose at 67 yards, I believe it was. How'd that feel?
That was definitely the highlight of my round, and I love that that's going to be the moment everyone remembers.
Yes.
Because the rest of the shoot was pretty terrible.
It was almost like if you missed a couple free throws and then got your own rebound.
Yeah, hit the game winner,
and then step back and hit the game-winning three.
Yeah, that's exactly how. It's like maybe you only had 4 points the whole game of leading up. But everybody remembers
terrible
the
game.
shot. That's it.
And then the next thing you know.
That's a perfect explanation right there.
Yeah.
It was sweet, man. I'd been pulling right the whole day a little bit, so I just held left a tad. The release felt great. As soon as I let it go, I'm like, oh, this is so money.
Oh, celebration.
Yeah, it was great.
I feel like I screamed like a girl.
Everybody,
he did it! He did it! He actually did it!
I don't believe it. He pulled it off.
We're talking like 6-7 yards across a little open, not a canyon, but a a little open.
Call it a canyon sounds more
impressive. It's all
it was
across the canyon.
A large canyon with a river in the
sharks
bottom.
with laser beams.
Right. It'll get more impressissive as time goes on.
Yeah. Around a couple of trees.
Oh, yeah. And it was a live deer. It wasn't a target.
No.
We should specify.
It really stood there for a long time eating that apple.
Still there, actually.
It was a good
still
apple.
There, yeah.
But this is an apple as big as, a little bit bigger than a regular apple.
Yeah, it's like a nice gala.
Like a gala. Like a nice, real ripe, nice gala. Yeah, for sure. So I was impressed. But what's your thoughts on the total archery challenge? Not that we have any reason to advertise it, but I think it's badass.
Yeah, it is. It's way cool. I think the coolest thing for me is getting to meet all these people.
Yeah.
Getting to rub shoulders with people from a different neck of the woods, talk stories, and learn a little bit about the things they do. But it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy smashing a few dozen arrows here.
Sponsored by. Do you have any arrow sponsors? Or we need to
Gold Tip.
Gold Tip.
Shout out to Gold Tip.
Thanks, Gold Tip.
Yeah, I'll be needing some more arrows for the upcoming shoots.
Please,
if you're listening.
Yeah, I only lost 2, but
that's good.
All the arrows hit the target, but just not where I wanted them to go.
Yeah,
which was an issue I found.
Yeah, that can happen.
We had a cool group of people running around in mountains shooting arrows. It's not a bad day. Not a bad way to spend your day.
No, it was good, man. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you're here as a guest of a company called Canvas Cutter, right?
Yep.
And I mentioned that to say, like, you weren't always in the hunting industry. You weren't probably always traveling to things like this as a guest of any company at any level.
No.
We got to hear the story.
Okay.
You don't have to start at the beginning. You could do like one of those non-linear stories where you start out at the end.
Like a Ranella story.
Yeah.
Just jump all over the place.
And then you go back to the beginning and
the
then
end, it's perfect.
At the end is the middle.
Yeah.
Anything like whatever you want to do.
So 5 years old, I'm on my bike, right?
Yep.
Riding? No, it's nothing like that. It's pretty basic for me. I've always just been an outdoors obsessed person. I've always, if I had time to hunt, I was in the hills. My dad started me when I was just a little kid, and I always knew it was what I wanted to do in some capacity.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it would ever be a career. But basically, a few years ago, started building a little social media following, and got to the point where I really started entertaining ideas of doing it full time after I, obtained just a little bit of sponsorship and things like that, and pulled the trigger on it full time about 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. I just basically, mostly what I do is hunt shed antlers and make dumb videos.
Yeah.
And apparently in today's society, that could be considered a career.
That is exemplary.
Yeah.
In today's society, you're stepping out.
Yeah. So now I get to go to events like this and call it work.
Yeah.
Travel around with
What's
cool
that feel
companies.
like?
It's awesome for me. You know, like I was always doing this stuff in my head when I should have been doing my normal job.
Yeah.
I was always thinking about hunting and wanting to be at events like this, and
now
I get to do it. So I love it. It's great.
What was the job before?
I did granite work for about 8 years. And then about 2 years prior to doing this full time, I started doing maintenance for the school district where I live. So I was literally a janitor and started, there's nothing that'll motivate you to move places. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that work was fine. It was all good, but I had a lot of time on my hands and a lot of time to think about what I'd rather be doing, and found a way to kind of make it happen.
Well, I imagine I get this all the time. I'm sure you get it now, but like when people ask you, how do you get in the industry?
Right.
How do you do this? I always say, I don't know.
Yeah. Just happens.
What are you asking me for?
Right.
You think I had a plan? You think I was like, in 8 years,
I'm going to be there.
I'll be sitting in a bus.
Yeah. I've just been scheming, like, how do you get that blue check mark on Instagram?
That's right.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That means you're official.
Yeah. I totally never like have planned out and followed through on a plan on anything in my whole life. Stuff just kind of happens. And I think that's how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You just take whatever you're presented and try to make the best of it. And if you're passionate about something, you try to put your head down and work at it.
Yeah.
And
is there any point where you thought, I got to go back to being, working granite or being a janitor, or I failed this thing? Or was it always like, just, I'm going to keep doing it until it works?
Yeah, there's definitely been points where, you're like, mostly it's a financial question. You're like, oh man, how am I going to get through this month? Or I know I have to go out, find things to film, make content. I don't have the budget for it. What am I going to do? But I believe, like, whether you call it fate, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, I believe that doors open when you put yourself out there. So I know, like, as long as I keep trying to do what I want to do, that doors will continue to open, and that's how it's been every time. So good luck, whatever it might be. There might be a point where I, have to go back to working, and if I do, then I'll just look back and be like, that was fun.
It was a fun, it's a fun honeymoon.
Gave it a whirl.
I doubt that. But yeah, I'm always interested in that. Even myself, I never had a plan of what it could be. And even get a job or like take a jump like you have, you don't know what it's going to end up being.
Right.
Even when you start doing it, somebody was talking to me, Sean DeGray, who runs the Total Archer Channel, was like, here's my 5-year plan. And I just kind of laughed. I'm like, dude, get out of here.
Never had a 5-year plan in my life.
5-year plans are the most waste of time really possible.
Yeah, there's so much unknown in that.
Yeah, you make a 5-year plan, you're like, well, if I just keep going with a 5-year plan, how much stuff do you miss along the way?
Right.
Trying to point your sales towards a freaking 5-year plan.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there's other doors that open that you were like, no, that's not in my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
I can't
be taking that dream job.
Briefcase full of money. That wasn't in my plan.
Nope.
That was
not
year
cashing
7.
That check.
So it's always been interesting to me. But hearing you talk about just coming up in your relationship with your dad and like, what everybody has, not everybody. If you're lucky enough to have a dad that took you outside, I think it must stick with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been definitely the molding factor for me. Like I could never get enough of that time.
Oh yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to still have my dad around. He still loves to hunt. We still get to go together.
Yeah.
And now as this kind of evolves, that's becoming a larger and larger part of it for me, is just making time to spend with him in the hills. And he's still diehard. He loves it. So we get out there every time we can.
That's awesome. And then what's the what's ShedCrazy?
Mm-hmm.
Who made that up?
I did. Yeah, I came up with that at work on the clock. So during business hours.
Sorry, school district.
Yeah, my dad, actually. I was working for my dad at the time doing granite work. But yeah, so sorry, Dad. I had my personal Instagram, and then I was seeing people doing, like, there's a couple shed hunting Instagrams. I'm like, I can do that. I like the same thing. And so I was
like, what do you like?
I could copy that. So I was like, what's a good name? This will work. And I started posting just shed pictures on there a few years ago, and started to gain a little bit of traction. And after about a year or so doing it was actually my wife one day. She's like, I think you're funny. You should do like funny stuff on there. I was like, no, people don't want to see that. They're here to see high quality, polished content. That's what I've been providing over the years. And I've
reached the peak of my content. It's so high polished.
It's so good.
Can only come down.
You cannot improve upon it. Yeah. And so I finally, after some kicking and screaming, started like posting some of the videos I had in my phone, just dumb stuff I'd come up with over time, and that's when it really started to grow.
Yeah.
So she knew what she was talking about, and
I feel like hunting just needs like some humor. It's too serious these days.
Oh yeah, man. Like, it's funny because the portrayal of hunting on social media is this serious thing, but the reality of hunting is like just dudes joking around with their buddies, having fun, laughing at
dumb
camp,
shit.
right? That's exactly right. And I just like, why pretend that it's something that it's not? It's fun. If it wasn't fun, why would you do it?
Yeah, it is fun. No, I remember. Back in the day, what was that TV show, Jimmy Big Time? You ever watch that show?
Uh-huh.
It was The guy, you remind me of that guy a little bit, but it was a TV show, him just spoofing outdoor TV.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Apparently nobody else did, because I don't think anybody watched
Didn't
it.
make it.
Nobody, every time I'd say, man, I love that Jimmy Big Time, people were like, shut up, man. That's stupid.
It's not.
But I loved it. It was like 2 hours one time of him trying to put on a tree stand harness in the garage.
That sounds like it'd be right up my alley.
Yeah, I was like, this is the perfect. Yeah, because this is the absolute perfect thing. But yeah, I always, just because we take this thing so seriously and we get in these little bubbles where we're talking about, people we know, and it's all relationships. Like,
Right.
what about that guy Cam Haynes?
Right.
What's he been up to?
Right.
And we make fun of each other. We laugh. Like,
Right.
It's not all that freaking serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of the companies that I'm lucky enough to work with, nowadays, I started off the relationship making fun of them.
Yeah.
And it was people who just rolled with it and laughed about it. Like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, we think that's great. And, some people do, like, some people get butthurt, but most people, they're able to roll.
There's some
with it
brands
well.
that I know that will go unspoken that they like branding.
Yeah.
Like they're really worried about their image, and there's no humility. And if their brand was a person, it'd be like the most boring motherfucker
You can't
ever.
make fun of us.
Yeah, you're like this. We're serious. It always has to be serious. It always has to be beautiful. It can't be gritty.
Yeah.
It always has to be this. And just like, man, that's not how it is.
No. Yeah.
You
it's
gotta
not.
have some kind of. I work for a brand that we did a video about elk milk.
Yeah. Dude, that was so funny. Like, I remember watching that. And I remember that was like some of the motivation for that Cosmic Brownie ammo that we did with Mountain Ops a few years ago. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was classic. The milk.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be good. Just the amount that was people laughed during the filming.
Yeah.
And how much we laughed watching the edits as they went.
It's just such a good idea.
Yeah. And Jordan Shipley being the main dude. Because I know Jordan Shipley a little bit from being down in Austin. And they're like, Jordan Shipley's going to do a video about milking elk. And I was like, well, that sounds like the April Fool's joke right there.
Right.
Sometimes, though, you just take a chance and shit ends up hilarious.
Yeah, that was epic, man. You read the comments on that. People love that stuff. And they love to see the lighter side, especially a company, like Yeti that puts out super high quality content as the norm.
Built for the wild.
Yeah, and then like, oh yeah, and we can take a joke.
Yeah, no, part of what we always said was like, if your brand doesn't have humility as one of its main characteristics, then you're just gonna be at some level you're gonna try to be too authentic, and you're just gonna lose your North Star, and you're gonna be too worried about, is there enough mud on that cooler, man?
Yeah.
Oh shit. That concerns me. But is there have you ever had anybody, take sarcasm and turn it into like rage and go snowflake on you?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Tell me all the stories. I don't know.
Oh man, those are my favorite messages to get from people. Like a lot of it, like what came through with the Hushing guys, because I started off just kind of making fun, poking at those guys, even before I really knew them that well personally, just taking jabs. And dude, Eric Chesser has the most violent fans, the defenders. Like if you say something bad about him, dude, prepare your inbox. I just get these kids like, you don't know him, you don't talk about him like that. Just the dumbest little things. But just comments on posts. People take you completely serious. You're an idiot. Like, yeah, I know.
I know that's why. That's why I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah, I love it. I love when people just totally miss the sarcasm, and it's almost like an inside joke, because there'll be a whole bunch of people making sarcastic comments, and then there's always one dude that's like, I don't think that's a very good portrayal. And you're like, well, okay, well, okay. So yesterday I posted a picture of a deer. It has some lung blood on the side of it, right? And this guy comments, why does it have silly putty on the side of it, right? And this other guy's like, that's lung blood. The other guy's like, no, it's not. He's like, that's silly putty. He's like, ShedCrazy, help us out. So I commented on there, and I'm like, I don't know. I was playing with silly putty that day, and I also shot that deer in the lungs, so it could be either one. It's like, who knows? And yeah, it's so funny. I love it. I love it when they miss the sarcasm. That's my favorite thing.
Just your style. I always think, like, I guarantee there's dudes out there that are like, what a dick. I can't believe he would say that.
Why?
About Casey Butler.
That's what's wrong with the hunting industry.
Yeah, that's exactly what's wrong. Yeah, he does look like that guy.
I love it.
Who does Casey Butler most look like? Celebrity does he most resemble to you?
I don't know. People tell us we look alike. Like I've had people full on mistake me for Casey.
Really?
And the other way around. Like, just people who've never met us before, you know. Casey said I think he was at the expo and somebody came up and like asked him how the shed hunt was going this year.
Yeah, she said it was crazy.
It was great. Had a great year.
It was a crazy shed, crazy.
Hey, you probably played along with it. Good. Well, who's he look like to you?
Jack Black.
Oh, yeah. I can totally see that now.
See that? Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to ask him about that now.
And he's got a Jack Black personality too.
He's hilarious, dude. Casey is. Everybody should get the chance to hang out with him for a while because he's like the funniest.
You laugh your ass off the entire time. But yeah, I don't know who I was. We were riding back from, I think Callahan or somebody was like, Casey looks like Jack Black. Like, yes, he does. He looks exactly like him.
That's funny.
Oh, that's good. Is there any, like, from being on social media, do you think you learn things about how to interact with people in the hunting industry? Are you concerned that what social media does to your psyche as you function through it as a job?
Yeah, like it definitely. So for me, the thing that I notice is that it's really easy for people to become egotistical, like myself included. Like you get to where you show up somewhere, people know who you are. You know what I mean? And like even the small amount of whatever, I don't even want to call it celebrity, but like being recognized, it's super easy to let it go to your head and just like start thinking that you're something. Like I remember the first last or maybe a couple years ago, I went to the expo in Salt Lake, and it was like I had a lot of people coming up to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I remember
did it, Dad! I did it!
I made it. I remember driving home and being like, "You are not that big of a deal, bro. Like you need to shrink your head down a little bit right now."
40 dudes,
yeah,
know
it's
you.
Like, great,
I experienced kind of the same thing. It's funny that like everybody goes through the. If you ever get everybody that's famous went through that hump where it was like nobody knows who I am. I'm just one of the regular guys. All of a sudden, I'm one of the guys that some of the regular guys come up to and say like, cool stuff, bro.
Right.
And I find that most people just come up and say like, cool, man, love it.
Yeah.
And they go on. But then some people, close talk you, go nose to nose.
Yeah, they show you a lot of pictures on the phone.
a lot of their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just getting over that hump is super odd.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a weird space, like when you're not used to it at all.
Yeah, I live 32 years without anybody ever coming up to me and saying like, "Oh, I know you from a thing," and then people started saying that. Like, yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Right,
it can't matter,
and that
can't matter.
That's what you have to keep reminding yourself is that like, yeah, just because they know who you are doesn't mean you're special.
Yeah, it can't matter. And I've tried to. I don't know what you do, but I try to like ask questions about the person that I'm talking to. If I don't know them at all and they've listened to this or see something somewhere, I'd much rather know who they are.
Oh yeah.
Than I imagine they've already heard my ass talk a lot.
Right.
And same in your case.
Yeah.
What do? You just try to keep it.
Yeah, same thing. I just try to try to say something funny. I feel the pressure to do that. If somebody sees.
I was going to ask you that. If you're not funny on this podcast, this could be it for
I know. I'm like trying to think like jokes, do the jokes. You've been practicing these for 2 days. I gotta watch.
Two ducks walk into a bar.
Right. No, like it's funny because it kind of is like the real life persona, the Instagram thing. It's dumb, but I mean it exists.
Well, yeah, because you think like Instagram is a filtered version of your reality.
Yeah.
No matter how much you do go live or whatever, go Insta story, it's still a filtered version of your
100%.
reality. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Like you can't post your entire reality.
No.
Because then there would be,
no one would like me.
What a dick.
Like, oh, actually, that guy is an asshole.
So that's funny. Like we were talking about Cam Haynes the other day. And I know Cam well enough. He wouldn't mind us talking about him a little bit in this way. But like he has, when you meet him, he's quiet and humble and the nicest guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard this about a lot of people in the industry that are, quote unquote celebrities, that they're, I don't know about that Donnie Vincent guy.
Yeah.
And then when I talk to people, they're like, oh, what a great dude. Sam Soholt, whose bus we're on right now. Thank you, Sam. Went on a hunt with him. So he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he filters, those guys filter themselves into the internet just in a different way.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, you just got to separate that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you separate it, those guys, people are doing what they're doing, especially for you, when it becomes a business.
Right.
All of a sudden, when people are paying you for that filter,
mm-hmm.
it's just different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like what you're saying too about like really getting to know people in person is so valuable, because I had preconceived notions about so many people like that are quote unquote in the industry, or like just ideas like people will come up and tell you, oh, you know, that guy's an ass or this and this, but 100% you have to meet people, sit down and like get to talk to them, because most of the time, like, yeah, people have beefs or whatever, but it seems like everybody I meet's just nice.
Yeah, man. I've made a career just knowing people, and that's part of my job right now. And I can't tell you of a handful of people that I wouldn't want to have a beer with.
Right.
And I could tell you a good number of those folks, there's Instagrams I just don't follow because it's not my kind of gig.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just their filter is what their filter is. They choose to focus on one thing or look a certain way. And it's weird. I mean, it's just a weird situation. I was asking Casey and those guys the same thing. It's like you start to put yourself out there, and then all of a sudden, without you even knowing, you change and shift based on people you talk to or experiences you have or sponsors that you might have, and the pressure to post this many times a week or to fulfill those types of things. Like,
I don't know.
How do you deal with that shit?
I think that I just try to never like fake it because it has to be done. Yeah. You know, like people will tell you like post twice a day, post at peak posting times. But like if I don't have anything to post on my phone, like I'm not going to make something up just because I feel like I need to. Yeah. And I feel like you lose your authenticity in a lot of ways if you're just like,
arbitrary,
do it.
Yeah. Arbitrary number posting. Yeah.
Right. And I think like as dumb as it is, you should do it when you want to do it, when there's something that you want to share. And I don't know, don't get caught up so much in like I'm trying to build, so I have to do it this way. Authenticity is what people want to see. Yeah. They want to see you be your real self. They want to see what you're up to. And that's what works. Yeah. So many people get caught up in the numbers. They get caught up in the, I have to do it a certain way. I have to follow this plan if I want it to be this. But
then your real self can be something different. Like your real self, you're funny as hell, so you can turn the camera around and talk to it, and it's entertaining. Like
occasionally,
yeah. Well, once or twice, then that's all you need.
Right.
Just keep replaying this viral
video. Repost it over and over.
Repost.
Yeah.
And for me, I came up as a journalist, and so I was trained not to turn the camera on myself.
Yeah.
Like I was trained to document and report on what's happening as opposed to like turning it around. So I don't do good with that, but that doesn't mean I'm any better than somebody that does.
Yeah,
it's just that's myself. That's what I do. I wouldn't change that just to get more likes because that's never going to work.
Right.
It might work in the short term, but certainly not in the long term.
Well, people that look like us, we don't have that many. We have to use our personalities. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, if I was good looking, dude, I'd be so famous. But
if
I look like Sam Soholt.
Oh, I mean, he's really like living in a bus.
It's a dreamboat.
He really has all. He has it all.
Yeah.
He lives in this bus here. He's this handsome man. Travels the world, and but he does live in a bus though.
Yeah,
I think that's challenging for him.
I think in our demographic, maybe in the hunting world, that's not a cool thing. In the snowboarder, like pot smoker
We're
world,
saying that snow bunnies would dig the bus.
Yeah, they'd be all about it.
This is a nice bus. It's got burlap windows.
That's trendy.
Covers.
Yeah, burlap.
Pretty trendy. I think that's burlap of some kind.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. This is all interesting because as much as people might not want to listen to two guys talk about Instagram all day. It's the main way people interact with me that don't know me.
Yeah.
And it's the main way people interact with you that don't know you.
Yeah.
And so this shit is relevant. And it's relevant in a way that like I always sit and think about, how's this shaping me? What am I doing that I shouldn't be because of this? What could I be doing to better utilize this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's important because if you're not doing that, then you're just following the trends.
Right. And I think about that a lot as it relates to the ethics of hunting, because for the longest time it was just whatever. I'll post whatever I want. I'm not worried about offending anybody. I don't care. And then I realized like it was starting to alter the way I hunted a little bit because I was starting to care like about the possibility of introducing someone to the sport through Instagram. You know, if somebody stumbles upon something that I did and that's their first impression of it, or, it could possibly shape their impression of hunting. Is it something that's positive or negative? So I think that like the fact that I know whatever I'm going to do is going to end up in social media in a lot of ways compels me to be a little bit more ethical.
Yeah.
Try to make better choices. So I think it has its positives and its negatives for sure, but that's one of the positives that I see.
Thank God you took it that way, because a lot of people do the opposite. You're filming me, I'm going to be a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Try to get attention. And some people are like, I'm getting attention, I should do it the right way. At least you balance it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I find that with me, and then I wonder if I took away social media and I was just hunting for myself again, and if I would act completely different, or if I would treat the killing of the animal in a different way.
Yeah.
How I would do it. What animals I would kill. Would I still be chasing big ones to get admiration, or would I just not care?
Yeah.
And shoot the first one I saw. I just wonder. I don't know. I guess I'll probably never know.
Yeah, it's never
going forward.
Never going away. But
yeah, I'm not going to erase all social media for purposes of my experiment.
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah.
That's give me all those small bucks, medium dollars.
Right.
I really love those.
Well, there's a lot of people, that have an opposition to social media or whatever and love it or hate it. It's a major part of the culture of what hunting is today.
Sure.
And it's definitely how the younger generation consumes media. So the people that we're trying to get involved for the future of hunting, that's where they're going to live, is in that space. And so everybody has a little bit of responsibility to make sure they're doing it in a way that doesn't hurt,
Yeah. No, and I think that I haven't brought up the grip and grin in a few episodes just because I was getting heavy. But when I was thinking about recording with you, I'm like, this is going to be, we're going to go deep on the grip and the grins.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, like, I don't care that much about grip and grins.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. But it became a conversation. I think it was more about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I went on the Gritty Bowman and I was having a bad day at the Archer Trade Show.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling a little sick. I was a little fed up seeing grip and grins everywhere and celebrating this, like, I killed an animal, woo, thing.
Yeah.
And I just said, let's just not do that anymore. How about we just not do that? I had said that before on Instagram, but didn't feel like I needed to repeat it.
Yeah.
Or needed to make it like a marching cry of mine. But then I got to ATN and I'm like, wow. This is still pretty prevalent. This is still the banner that people want to hang.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just dug that a little deeper.
Yeah. Just might as well.
Might as well.
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there, because they're great and they're super friendly, and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today. After 3 years of work, our follow-up to the Meat Eater Fish and Game Cookbook is here. It's the Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, campfire, and camp stove. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry, with pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Get your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com or buy it wherever books are sold.
And then subsequently, everybody I talk to and every other person who wants me to have their own, whatever media thing they're doing wants to talk about that subject. So suffice to say, let's have at it.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think about the Griffin Grins.
So for me, I'm 100% about genuine emotion. So whatever you feel in that moment, I feel like is okay.
Yeah.
Because when I kill an animal, I act stupid. I get giddy. I laugh. We hoop and holler, like that's me. That's not even the way I was raised because my dad's very stoic, So that's my genuine reaction to it. And that's for me probably a culmination of all the work that went into it or just the excitement of the moment. That's how I respond. And I think that that's okay. I think it's okay to have whatever genuine emotion you have in that moment. Because I see people who are like, happy and excited, and then they try to act sad, or they try to act, they try to act try to show it right. And I don't think it's necessarily disrespectful to smile, to grab a hold of him, to take a picture and show that emotion that's there. I think that it's a little bit disingenuous I tried to use too big of a word.
That was nice.
Disingenuous.
You got it. You hit it hard.
Anyway, I think it's a little disingenuous to show only that part of it, to be like, this is the experience, this is what I did. I killed an animal and this is all you're going to see.
Yeah.
A lot of what I do with YouTube and everything is trying to show the whole thing. You're going to show the scouting period. You're going to show the hunt, the stalk, the kill, the trophy photo. Probably it's going to be a part of that for sure. The butchering, the cooking, the consuming, all of it. I want to show the whole thing anyway, because I think the whole experience is awesome.
Yeah.
So people get focused on that one part of it and they try to act like that's the whole experience. But I think as long as it's a part of the big picture of the hunt, it's just fine.
Yeah. And
if you genuinely have emotions where you're sad in that moment or where you feel out of respect, awesome, show it if that's what it is, but don't fake it.
Yeah. No, and I've recently, I'm not sure when this started to happen or why, and it is somebody asked me when I was in a hushing video, why didn't you do anything? And I was like, recently, over the last probably 2 years, when I kill things, I go freakishly dead, like freakishly calm.
Yeah.
And I get this serene feeling of like calmness.
Yeah.
Because you ramp it up, and then I think my body must be like, calm it down, bro.
Yeah, adrenaline dump.
Don't celebrate, just be completely emotionless in this moment. And that's been only the last couple of years. And it was nothing I ever did to try that.
Yeah.
It just started happening. And then I thought, like, okay, should I, at some point, a couple of years ago, I thought, well, should I start to smile and jump around when somebody's filming it? Because it looks pretty weird if I just stand over the animal without any emotion.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm kind of an asshole about the whole thing.
Serial killer,
yeah. Just stare at it bluntly.
I've done it.
On to the next. No emotion. But it's less, it's not a lack of emotion. It's just the calmness that is the emotion that I get. And so to try to unpack all that, like you said, it's challenging, I think, to try to unpack all that and present it in a way, especially when you're filming it, it's happens.
Right.
You can edit it, take parts away, but you can't really do much to add.
Yeah.
But when you're not filming it, when you're presenting it via picture by picture or moment by moment in little snippets, you can change those things.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah. And I'm almost, I don't know, when I take a photo and I'm just like stoic and sitting by an animal, that is 100%. Anybody that's hunted with me and seen me kill something, that is 100% the way that I am.
Yeah.
100% the way that I am. And it's the same as, like you said, same as somebody like yourself jumping up and cheering and laughing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All those things are genuine.
Yeah, it's just, you never know how it's going to affect you. That's one of the coolest things about it.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen people cry, I've seen people freak out, I've seen people do exactly what you're talking about, be calm. And that's what's cool about it. Like, it's different for everybody. It's that's the personal element of it, like hunting is personal because it's different for everybody. And I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Well, then it comes down to, so I 100% agree with you on that part. And I've never said that, like, I've taken 1 million grip and grins in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's wrong. But I wonder if there's parts of our hunting culture that have been so bastardized that we can't get them back. And it's mostly our fault. Like I said, when you go to the ATA and you walk into a certain bow company's booth and there's like trading cards with guys with big dead animals.
Yeah.
They're not spikes and forkies.
No.
That these guys are sitting behind.
Yeah.
With their grip and grins. These are trading cards of got, like, you're a good hunter because of this animal that died.
Yeah.
No context as to where it was killed.
What the circumstances
like,
right.
You know, and I've talked to Green Tree about it. Like, here's a trading card of Adam Green Tree with a giant deer. That means he's a pro.
Yep. He did it.
This is him. So I think we have a large part to play in that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that for so long in the hunting world, that was the culture, you know, like, and people would be ashamed to show if they killed a small deer.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've never felt like that. I've killed a ton of small deer and I was excited on every one of them.
So did I.
And
my whole life was small deer.
Yeah. And it's the sad thing for me too, is like a lot of the time I know growing up, like I would see a deer, I would want to kill it. I would kill it. I'd be excited. And then I'd be like, oh, everybody's going to say something because I killed another 2x3. Like, I'm famous for shooting 2x3s, right? And that sucks. That sucks that that's something you even have to worry about.
Yeah.
A kid, I mean, I remember killing my first deer, man. I was 14 years old. It was a mule deer with my dad. Couldn't have asked for a better experience, right? We hike up, skip school, killed this deer in the foothills above our hometown. Yeah. Awesome experience. And I remember, like, going to school, and I knew my buddy's like, oh, I'm going to ask if I got a deer. And I was worried, like, they're going to make fun of me for shooting this deer. And that sucks. It sucks that that's part of it, because it should just be a positive experience. And
that's a great point too. And then to the point about the grip and grin trading cards, it's like, that's almost telling people you can be a pro and be sponsored when you kill a big thing.
Right.
And that is wholly not true.
Right.
Like, you could be the best hunter in the world and every once in a while kill a big one, and most of the times kill a small. Like, it doesn't matter at all.
Right.
And you can manufacture, if you have enough money and time and sponsors, you can manufacture your own hunting greatness.
Absolutely.
Because I talked about this with Casey. It's not like golf,
right,
or any other sport where there's a guy commentating live on your activities.
Right.
You could go out, hunt private land, shoot a giant bull, pay $20,000, and then use that as a way to make yourself look like a competent, world-class hunter.
Absolutely.
And so when you start equating the animal with the success, you're going to create feelings like you had.
Right.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's 100% the way it is. I agree with you. Like, it seems like, I don't know, you can definitely buy that success in a way. Yeah. And as you become more successful, especially in the industry, and then maybe you have a company that's paying for your hunts, or you have whatever else, then it's like, oh, he's more successful. Then it like legitimizes you, but really all you do is have opportunities that your average Joe wouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, and those companies, the expectation of those companies is the same, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's companies that are like, well, we can't give this guy money to sponsor him unless he's out there whacking giant animals all the time, because that's how we know he's good.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't know. How do you know he's good? If you're with him every time, maybe you do, but it would be just as good. And, you know, I do that for a living now, sponsor folks. It's like, man, I just look at their philosophies.
Yeah.
As opposed to their results, because the results are not indicative of the dedication to the thing.
No. Yeah. You have to understand the circumstances that go with it. You know, you look at these guys and they might be holding a whitetail buck that wouldn't really raise an eyebrow if you were to put it up at a show like ATA or something like that. But it's a public land buck, and the things that they had to do to accomplish that are much more difficult than, you know, some of the other circumstances you'd see these giant deer in. So
yeah, it's
just not, that picture itself doesn't really represent the entire story.
Yeah. And that's hard too, because I don't want to take away, because you talk about the grip and grins in and of themselves, like that guy who just killed that forky and takes a grip and grin. But the deer's laying there, he jumps behind it, he's excited, he's like, take my picture, dude, I get it. And that's the picture of like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the guy who shoots the animal, puts it in the back of a truck, drives it to the vista, sets it down, dumps water on it, scrubs it off, puts his sponsor items in front of it,
Right.
turns it to the camera,
Professional cameraman,
and then does
crew.
Those things feel that's completely different.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that me or you or anybody can say like, don't do that.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
But it is like, don't do that one version of it because that fucks hunters up, and as a little butter on the bread, messes with non-hunters' heads too.
Yeah.
Like it screws us a little bit, but it really screws us in the non-hunting world.
Yeah, because that's what they see.
Yeah.
That's the snapshot. And the way that social media works with algorithms, those are going to be the pictures that are most liked because they're coming from not only companies who are maybe pushing their guys, but also a person who's going to have a large social media following. So when they explore something, a hashtag that might be hunting related, they're going to see those top posts.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 6 guys with giant bucks.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's
I'm sure
what
you're
they're
the
gonna
same way.
think it
If you or I, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but if you post, for me, is if I post a picture of meat or a dead animal with me behind it, I get way more likes than if I just post like a picture of, some random hunting activity.
Yeah.
Or me hiking around or somebody
Foraging
I'm with,
for
you foraging
plants.
for plants or mushroom. Here's me foraging for plants. Didn't find any.
Like 6 likes.
Didn't say, oh, shit.
Wow.
I got to hurry up and kill
Really
something.
poor.
Like,
Yeah.
back.
Well,
But
that's the truth
true.
of it. Yeah.
The truth of it. And the truth of it also is a grip and grin versus like some other type of dead animal celebration shot is more popular than one that isn't a grip and grin.
Yeah. And I'm always curious to know too. And like, that's one of the cool things about social media. Go back through and look and be like, what's the most popular? What's the most like things I did or whatever? And that's always the deer I killed. It's usually the grip and grin. For me, like in my space, if I find a giant set of antlers, it'll always do really well.
Yeah.
But it's funny. The most popular thing I ever posted was, I don't know if you saw it or not. It was a drawing of me naked with an elk shit over my shoulders that my pal Chris Lacey did. And then, my logo actually I just came up with was the most popular picture I've ever posted. This one.
You got some artist friends. I got to get friends that are artists.
I could hook you up with that guy. He's amazing.
Yeah, that's legit.
He does crazy good artwork.
Yeah, he's thoughtful in the way he does it too. But and that conversation will probably go on forever, but I think it's just indicative of our inability as a group to decide how to depict this complex thing that we're doing because it isn't. I'd almost wish maybe we can recruit. We would talk about recruiting Jim Nance to come on.
Yeah, with soft voice.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Ben steps up, draws his bell.
The buck's walking in.
Buck's walking in, and he missed it
again.
Oh my God,
that's the 3rd time this week.
At least if that happened, everybody would know who's good and who's bad,
right?
As opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, I agree totally. Like, there's no, and getting the whole hunting industry to agree on anything cohesive is just, there's not one point that we all are anywhere near.
And you know what I found this week too, and I'm guilty of it so much, is like we're like a bunch of little ladies, like a little knitting circle. Hey, did you hear about old David? What's he doing? They're like, oh my God, I heard about David. You tell me what you know, man.
And then everybody's like, that camo doesn't match.
Yeah,
you've got 2 different patterns. Like, what if it was a woman? Everybody laugh at her.
Yeah, you can't hunt if you have 2 different patterns on.
Yep.
We get in clicks and do the thing. It's any group of people.
Yeah,
that'll happen too. But I've noticed that this week, and I've like noticed that in myself a lot lately. It's like, come on, man, be better than that. Don't be talking rumors about what's happening.
The hot gossip.
Group of friends, hot gossip on the trail.
Totally, yeah. That's the way it is, man. It's just.
We should come out with a podcast like Total Archery Gossip.
Total
sit around.
Like, I heard.
You know what I heard? I heard the guys at Canvas Cutters are terrible shots.
They can't shoot a bow. They're only in the hunting space because they couldn't make it in the survival space.
That's right. That guy Seth. I heard he takes steroids.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, his aluminum arrows, they barely make it to the target.
Aluminums, man. That was funny.
Yeah, I told that one with Cole in the last podcast.
You guys probably talked about everything. It
was a 2-hour long one.
Good.
Yeah, it was deep.
Cole's interesting though, and his southern voice is so soothing.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess he's from Kansas, but we consider that the South.
That's the South.
If you're from Utah, he
is a soothing soul.
Yeah,
he is. But yeah, I always wonder about how you come off when you're. It's such an intense group of people, and we spend a lot of time around each other, hunting and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
This weekend, in all honesty. I don't even know why I'm saying it on a podcast, but I just felt like a chatty Cathy. I felt like I was like, we talk about something else.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a fucking gossip
Yeah,
queen.
just that's the way it is, man. It's just so much of that gets floated, and that's why, like we're talking about earlier, it's so important to get to know people. Because if you just went on what you heard, you'd think this whole world is a lot worse off than it is.
That's right. Yeah, and then you meet, like I said, I'm 95% of the people I meet that love hunting, completely awesome.
Yeah, just like we have so much in common.
Yeah, and it's easy.
Yeah,
it's super easy. And that's another. I find myself, I hang out with people that don't hunt. I'm like, man, this is a chore to get to know you.
It's like, I don't want to talk about your beach chairs.
Yeah, why don't you just hunt, and then we could be friends.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't want to know you.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, once you get into this hobby, it's like it swallows your whole world.
Doesn't it?
Like, you take this on. Like, we were talking yesterday about sports and how, like, you used to care about sports.
I used to love sports.
Yeah.
I still watch it,
like
but I don't care about it anymore.
Yep. I used to fish like crazy. Fish crazy, whatever. No, all kinds of stuff. And now it's just like hunting just swallowed everything.
Yeah.
Hunting and shed hunting.
I had a buddy, not to get too depressing, but I had a buddy pass away in the industry some years ago. And he's a popular guy in all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to his funeral, and it was like a trade show.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's 38 years old, has a family and 2 kids, lives in his hometown, and 90% of his funeral were industry people.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, it's his whole life was that.
Yeah.
You know, he got up at, his family and his industry family is legitimately what it was, the people that were there when he was gone. So, yeah, you think about that too. Like, this is pretty important to me and you.
Right.
Because that's a lot of our time spent putting energy into this group of people.
Definitely. And away from family. You know, we're prioritizing this to be here on a day like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it makes you ask some bigger questions too. Like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Like, is there actually good to be done here? Is this recreational? Like, is it possible for a hobby to really like swallow your whole life? Like, I mean, I guess it is. There's probably people who basket weave that are just as passionate as we are. Who knows? But
I hope so. So I like baskets. I like them to be woven well. Yeah, I'd like to be
built for the wild. You know?
Yeah, I like those bullshit baskets.
It's just one of those things. Seems like most people who really become passionate about it, it's like that's your thing. I define myself. I'm a hunter.
Sucks you in, yeah. And I wonder if that makes you better, or the business of it makes you more selfish. It almost has to at some level. I wonder if just the passion for it and the surround yourself with those type of people makes you better at it. And I wonder which side of that probably wins out. But,
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who have no part in this, who know nothing about this, that are probably excellent. You know, like I always look at my grandpa. My grandpa's a killer. As long as I've been alive, he's been killing deer, and he always wants to kill big deer. Not a trophy hunter by any means, but if he would not understand this world in one bit. You go talk to him about it. Oh yeah, there's an archery shoot, and everybody sits around in a bus and talks into headphones. You'd be like, yep, that's more stuff I don't care about.
Yep, don't care about that. I'm just a hunter. Yeah, no, yeah. I think when you're in the industry and you start to make a profession of it, it becomes totally different.
Absolutely,
totally different. And then you're talking about it in headphones on a bus. And next thing you know, you don't know what you're saying,
right?
Whether it's any good, or not.
Please
stop listening now. It's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably more introspective in times that I'm not chasing animals, but
yeah, and it's funny too because that's when it all shuts up. There's all this noise with social media. There's all these pressures with companies, with all this stuff, and then when you actually do the thing that you're all about, all those things are out of your head.
Yeah, which is beautiful.
And you focus in, and that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, man. The only difference that I can tell you from when I was a kid until now is you're going to understand more as you get older. You're always going to grow and understand more, but like the feeling of understanding the totality of our lands is the one thing that's changed in me. So over time, and it continues to change. Like the totality of knowing, like I could raise my kid in Texas, where he's not going to know what it feels like, like where how you grew up,
right,
and how a lot of people out west grow up. That there's this expanse that's accessible to you,
right? Maybe
you might just want to go run or bike on it, or you might want to jump in and hunt on it, but it's there for you. It's part of your life, and you don't have to question it. And there's people like you and I, older, as you're a kid, there's people that are older that are there protecting it for you to make sure it stays there.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
And that's the one change in me as I've had a kid, and I know you have a couple too, that like the one thing that's changed in me to think it's pretty important to understand that.
Yeah. Something I totally took for granted growing up.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know, like, it's not in my mind. We were recreating on public land. You know, we just always had a place that we could hunt. Lots of places. It was never, it's one of the beautiful things about where I live in Utah, you know, it's just surrounded by public land. There was always private too, but you always had a lot of places that you could go, and usually places you could still go and get away from people.
Yeah. No, and there's, you know, if I were to take you and plop you in Texas right now, you'd be miserable out there. Yeah. Because there just isn't that reality.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go around and befriend ranchers to get access. And I found like big animals, small animals, elk, mule deer. There's Ty Stubblefield, PHA. He's waving at us. And we're talking about public lands. Do you think
gosh.
Do you think
his
he
ears just started tingling?
And then he came over. Yeah. He's that good.
Yeah.
He's a conservationist.
He knows.
What were we talking about? Ty's sure.
Yeah, you're talking about like Texas and
I think if you move to
Texas
for
access.
There is access to there. But yeah, I think living in Texas, I look around. Like, people don't know. They don't know what they don't have.
Yeah.
They don't know. And then when you start to know, you're like, whoa, I don't want my kid to, not have this.
Yeah.
And to have to go down to the local, Texas park with 1,000 other
Fish
people
pond.
in the swimming hole and try to experience the outdoors. Like, that's not going to do it, man. It's not going to do it.
It's crazy. Like, having kids changes so many things like that. Just exactly like that. And you start thinking about the world your kid's going to grow up in. Man, I hope that our kids have that place like I was lucky enough to have growing up. Because that's what molded me into the human that I am. Not that that's that spectacular, but those times.
Thanks, Public Lands.
Thank you
for making ShedCrazy
for making me a person on Instagram. But yeah, like, we grew up. My parents live on the very edge of town, and behind us is just like 1 million acres of public land. It's just huge. And I grew up every day taking a 22 or a BB gun and going and chasing cottontails, and that's what I did.
Yeah, me, and I was growing up, we had Green Ridge State Forest and squirrels, turkeys, deer.
That's awesome.
We didn't hunt a lot, but we hunted enough for it to be a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, if a kid that beer, we're getting off for Bud Light, we're not taking it. Love you, Ty.
Thanks, Ty.
Yeah, I hunted enough to have that in my head that was there and it was mine or ours, whatever the case. That's the one thing that's changed in me over this time. Do you have anything like that other than that land? Like, as you have kids and you try to look around and
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there, because they're great and they're super friendly, and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
And even, talking to Casey, and another good point I'd love to hear from you is like nobody has retired from YouTube,
No.
or Instagram or any of that stuff.
Right.
There's nobody you can say like, "Yep, was doing it for 30 years.
Now I'm just taking my pension.
Now I'm just now I'm retired."
Yeah.
So I think about that stuff all the time too. So there's like 3 questions in one, and go.
So I think the biggest thing for me is, and the coolest thing for me about it is the ability to like mold it into something that is family oriented over time. The ability that you have to do whatever you want with the creativity side of it is huge for me. As my kids grow, I just like want to turn it into something we do together, where that's our job. I look at the time I spent working a 9-to-5 job. I just never got that quality time. Now I'm home a few days at a time. And that's everything for me. And when you see these little kids too, I mean, anyone out there who has kids understand it. You worry so much about the world that your kids are going to grow up in. I look at the hunting as a whole, and I see the positives and the negatives of everything that's going on. There's such a negative perspective of hunting in the world today amongst people who really don't understand it. And I wonder what kind of challenges they'll face, even how much harder it's going to be to hunt because of the gun issue.
Oh, sure.
In the future.
Sure.
And so those are some of the things that like definitely occupy my mind. And then, obviously the stuff that goes on with public lands issues. But I guess the most important thing for me is just like to see what I can do to ensure that they have what I had when I was growing up. So I know that's probably a terrible answer to 3 questions, but
no,
that's kind of what I think. Like
as an interviewer, you don't want to give 3. Hey, here's 3 really important questions at once.
At one time. Yeah.
No, I think, I'm interested. I guess I'm doing it myself too, but I'm not on my own. I mean, I work for somebody pays me a salary to do it. So it's different, you shaping like, once you jumped out of the 9-to-5, now it's your thing to shape.
Right.
Right. And then as you get, I think when you can tell me if I'm wrong, but in the first couple of years, you're just running at it.
Yeah.
And then at some point when it starts to get successful, you have to sit back and go, I don't need to do my 5-year plan, but is this going to be all right?
Yeah. You just want to make sure they're going to have food on the table.
Yeah.
That's for like the first little while for sure.
And is this going to be all right for them, too?
Yeah. That's something I've actually talked to Casey about too, is like, so say this does go really big. How much, do you want to show your kids to the whole world? Cause that's a concern right now. There's definitely people out there who are seeing what you're doing that are creepers. And
you better not be listening, creepers.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you turn this shit off right now.
Don't watch my channel.
Yeah.
Don't unsubscribe. I need the number.
Yep. I need that impression. I need that engagement, but also be liking shit.
Please.
Yeah, I'll be liking things. Please.
Don't watch. Yeah.
Please.
But yeah, what do you do? I mean, I heard Casey say one time, it's like a family business, if your kids don't necessarily have a choice. If they're going to go to work at the family business, they have to do it until they can choose for themselves. So yeah, you just got to walk a fine line between putting them out there and also not revealing too much.
Yeah. Well, you have somebody like Eva Shockey.
Did she have a choice?
Yeah. Who knows? She went full bore.
Yeah.
And I've talked to her a little bit. I'm not friends with Eva Shockey, but I know her. She knows me. And like I asked her because we have kids that are just about the same age.
Yeah.
And her and I are the same age. And I think she just is like, go all in if you're going all in. If you're going to put yourself out there, don't be afraid to put your family out there and make it normal.
Yeah. And I think that's there's like a positive to negative ratio and all this stuff, right? And I get so many people that come up to me that are like, I love that you do stuff with your kids. I love that you guys go on like little adventures together. I have kids. We love to do similar things. And I think the positivity that comes out of that will always dwarf the potential for a negative result.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I recently, my wife got on me. I recently wrote an article for Peterson's Hunting Magazine. It was about, I won't go through the whole article, but it was about Pittman Robertson. That was subsequently calling for a backpack tax on the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
It was a pretty harmless article. Didn't really make a big stink, but there was a guy on YouTube, won't mention his YouTube channel, but he made a video about me, calling me a liberal scab or a liberal.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Everybody knows that. I mean, less progressive, absolutely.
Yes.
In every way possible. Calling me like a liberal spy from the hunting industry. And then he stole a bunch of photos off my Facebook and sent them to music. And then put some other evidence up to bear about my being a liberal.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of mentioning that to my wife, and her first reaction was like, "Shut it all down.
We're done.
Shut down the Facebook. Shut down the Instagram.
Yeah.
If that somebody is making a musical video of your about you against your will, it's time to shut that down."
Yeah, that's
and I was like, that's probably a pretty good point. But that crazy dude is one crazy dude.
Yep.
Like, he can't change the 100 positive emails that I get.
Right.
Nor would I let that guy.
And that's good that you won't let him.
Yeah, he doesn't. That dude doesn't deserve a voice. Although I was very impressed by his editing abilities.
It was well put together.
It's well put together.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, he had licensing for the music. I was a little concerned for he might get
really good, huh?
Might get in trouble. But yeah, you put your ideas out there. And this is what it is. Put your life out there.
Oh yeah. It's all the way it'll be. Like I've had some real, like, a few just negative type people pop up like that just like, I don't know if they're there to get a reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pops up from time to time. But I always just have to look at the numbers, man. It's always 1,000 to 1 positive.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think most of those folks I've found, they say something crazy and you react and then they back off.
Some back off, some get encouraged.
Some double down.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a funny thing. Like, I find myself, though, like getting caught up in a little bit where I'll scroll past 100 positive messages to that one where they're telling me I'm an idiot. I'm like, oh, yeah?
I'm not an idiot.
Trust me, I'm not.
I got 1,000 likes.
Do you even know? But yeah.
You don't even know me. Like, of course he doesn't know you. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But I don't tell these other people who are saying I'm great. I'm like, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You don't know the real me. You wouldn't like me so much in person.
That's the clip we're cutting out of this podcast. You think I'm great? You don't fucking know me.
You don't know shit about me.
Yeah, that's my favorite of the social media guys. Like, well, do you have that opinion? You don't know anything about me. Well, that's the point of the social media.
Uh-huh.
The point is they don't know anything about you, and you post that, and they react to it.
Yep.
Once you become big enough that people that don't know you are looking at your stuff, that's the expectation that they don't know you.
Be some misunderstandings.
Yes, they're going to think one thing based on their prism, which they see the world, and you're going to be thinking another.
Yep.
But if they're an asshole, then let them be.
Right.
Let them be. I want to talk about sheds.
Good.
We've gone too deep into our emotional.
It's got very philosophical.
Yeah. Which I had.
Switch gears.
Yeah. Why sheds?
Because they're awesome. They're so
all right.
awesome.
Thanks for joining us in the Hunting
We'll
Collective.
catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
No, they're just, man, I couldn't get, like, so I've heard you talk about on your podcast in the past about people fetishizing the antlers, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'm about it. I love score. I love inches. I love impressive bulls. I love bucks with character. Like, I'm all about that. And I know it's not realistic for me to kill those kind of animal every time. And a lot of the time, like, I love meat. I'm going after meat a lot of the time. So antlers kind of fills that niche for me. Like, I love finding giant antlers. And also, they have value. They're worth money. Yeah. So I don't know. They're just the perfect storm for me. I can find as many as I want. You shoot a deer and you're done hunting for the day. You pick up an antler, you throw it on your pack, you keep going.
Yeah.
And then also, there's just never enough hunts in the year for me. At least, growing up, that was the way it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't get enough of it. Couldn't get enough days in the field. So,
well, now you brought up another point, fetishizing of antlers. Now we got to talk about that real deep.
Open the rabbit hole.
Oh, hell. Well, I always wondered why sheds, and I never grew up in a place where shed hunting would have been, whitetails, but they weren't big enough to even be soup spoons.
Right.
So you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And every time I could say honestly, every time I run across a shed when I'm hunting, I'm like, yes,
got one.
I don't know what to do with this.
Yes, I'm gonna post it.
It's gonna be heavy. I'll probably drop it in a couple miles.
That was me forever, though.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
I want it, but I don't want it that bad.
Yeah.
And I wonder how it switches. You make a lot of money on sheds, or is it just
not necessarily?
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like, I'm gonna cover my gas money.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, that's really pretty good.
And they just have a buyer in town, and they.
Yeah, that's originally how it was.
Yeah.
They'd come through a couple times a year.
I just buy up the good ones.
Yeah, and then lately I've started getting into the buying end a little bit more, and I have a partner that I work with, and he works with an exporter.
So you buy or they buy yours?
Both. I buy from people, and then he buys from me. I basically just upsell them, make a small cut
to sell them to to where?
They go to China. Yeah, they go in shipping containers and they go to China.
Yeah, what do they do in China? Grind them up and snort them?
Yeah, basically. I don't think they snort them, but yeah, it's an aphrodisiac.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's off the counter or the counter supplement. For
is
special.
is that more profitable than, say, the elk chandelier?
Yeah, well, right now it's the majority of the market. The
Is
dog chew thing is huge.
It's true. Yeah.
Super expensive. If you go go price out some dog chews on Amazon, it's insane.
Is there you know a lot about like high fence ranches that are just dropping sheds and collect them? Is that a big part of the market, or is it guys like yourself?
It's not the majority by any means, but you know, the buyers, they'll still go get them off a high fence ranch. It's the same thing.
Say they don't give a shit.
No,
it's the same. It's interesting to me.
They're not worth as much, like for the trophy quality of them. You know, a ranch bull, it's not going to be worth as much as a big public free range bull.
Yeah,
keep their own public in there because.
Keep it public. I mean,
just
keep the antlers public.
Right.
I don't want the antlers to be private.
Public sheds.
Public
worth
sheds.
More than private
there it is.
Sheds.
There's your new
public land shed hunter.
Public land shed hunter.
I'm going to get a different bus.
Or trespasser. You're either a public land shed hunter or you're a trespasser.
There's plenty of that.
How much for like a giant 380-inch bull side?
So those, anything bigger than like probably 350, 360 is considered trophy quality. So you get a little bit better per pound out of them.
How much do you get? Are you allowed to say?
It's no, but it just varies a lot. Like on if it's a known bull or somebody maybe killed it the following year, it can be worth more. But you should be able to get a few $100 to $1,000 out of a big side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. Well, all right. Can I come with you?
Yeah, you want to go?
Let's get into business.
Everybody's all about it until they find out how hard it is.
Yeah. Well, I know there's like guys like Eric Chester who I know is huge into it, and it seems to be trending that way. A lot of people are doing it. In fact, I saw a video that Jason Matzinger shared of when they opened up some piece of ground in Montana.
Oh yeah, that's insanity.
And these guys are just running and horseback. And so what's the most you'd make in a day if you spent all day doing it?
My best days would probably be $1,500 or so.
Pretty damn good day.
It is, and if you could do it every day, it'd be a real moneymaker.
Is it only fresh brown ones? That's a weird way to say it. Is it only freshly shedded?
Yeah, they're called brown.
Brown.
Yeah, it's the grade. So they're worth about $14 to $15 a pound right now for brown. There's a grade called hard white, which is about $10 to $11 a pound right now, and then chalk, which is the older ones, which are $4 to $5 a pound for elk right now.
And they're all still getting ground no matter what. Like
pretty much.
The wear from the elements doesn't make it any more potent or less potent.
Not that I know of. I don't know that much about it. But
I get a lot of questions.
Yeah, for sure. But you can have a good day and make some money, but you have a lot of days where you don't find any. And that's just like hunting, the majority of the time.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that kind of a day.
You got any tips for the novice shed hunter out there?
Just get to know where the animals are in the winter. It's pretty basic, we focus on feed sources and migration routes and just find out where the animals hang out in the winter. And that's where they'll drop them. If you're in a place where there's not a lot of competition, it's better just to sit back, let them do their thing, let them drop, let them move out of there, and then go in and clean them up.
Do you shed, do you shed out just in the off season and that's it?
No, the more deep I get into it, the more I find myself taking days off from hunting to go
shed hunting.
Yeah, like when it's nice and cool.
I love that.
So it's
how many days a year you shed hunt? How many days a year will you shed hunt this year? You think?
Oh, if I can get 100 in,
that's a ton of days.
Yeah, I try 3 or 4 days a week.
Wow.
But when the hunts roll around, that'll cut into it, so that number might not be quite that high. Maybe it'd be 60.
Is there a community of people like yourself that you tap into?
Yeah, there's a lot of people actually. Social media has kind of been what's brought that all together. In Utah, there's a ton of people that do it, and obviously other states too, because they've been putting shed seasons into effect in Colorado, Nevada. So it's growing in popularity all the time, which is good and bad.
Sure.
Because it's definitely heightened the competition.
That video I saw, there was like everybody had ATVs and trucks, and there was one dude on foot, running for his life, just running, Forrest Gumping it, just like running towards the horizon.
Yeah, I avoid those things, man. Those openers, they get crazy. Like people say they're fun,
but that's shed opener then.
So that's basically they'll have like an elk refuge or a wintering area that's shut down until a certain date,
Is that just to keep foot traffic off? Or?
Yeah, just to give the animals a chance to be on the winter range without getting chased around.
Not a lot of stress.
Yeah, which is debatable whether it matters or not.
You feel like there's any bad sides of shed hunting, like guys chasing bulls around, trying to knock them over? And
yeah, that's definitely the bad side. I think it's very highly exaggerated how often it happens.
Yeah.
States, I feel like, use that as justification to close down shed hunting a lot, but I don't feel like it actually helps the problem, because people who are willing to break the law to chase an animal, they'll break a law to disobey the shed season. So,
have you ever run into anybody that's got caught doing stuff like that, or just something stressing out animals for the point of?
Not really.
Sheds?
And as many days as I spend out in the hills, I just don't see it very much.
Yeah,
you'll see people riding 4-wheelers off road. That's pretty common, and it's not good. But I think the problems that people say go along with shed hunting are greatly over exaggerated.
Yeah. Are you public mostly? Or are you?
Yeah, vast majority of what I do is public land. And we have a little bit of private. My grandpa's a little property that has a couple antlers in it every now and then. But
you find that I do have a lot of questions about this. Well, maybe I'm gonna start my own shed thing.
There you go. Dive in.
Do you find that ranch owners and private landowners are into the idea of letting folks on, or they want to, once they find out there's a profit in it, they want to have it for themselves, or what?
It depends. If they have interest in hunting, they usually will go pick up the antler.
Yeah.
Especially if they know what it's worth.
Yeah.
A lot of people are cool though, and they don't care. And you could get permission. Even people who wouldn't let people hunt there, sometimes will let you pick up sheds there. That's awesome. It's worth asking. It's worth knocking some doors, and because you can definitely get on some better pieces.
What are the unwritten rules of shed hunting? Are there any things you shouldn't do? Don't be a dummy.
Yeah, don't follow people. Like if you see somebody in a spot, or if you go somewhere else, it's kind of the same as they are with hunting. Just keep people their space, and obviously don't harass animals, because if you run an elk into the ground and it dies, you're not gonna get any more sheds off of it.
Yeah. So
just don't be an idiot.
That's good. Don't be an idiot. Shed crazy.
There you go. There's your advice.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah. Well, good, man. I appreciate the time. I have a lot more questions about shed hunting than I thought I'd have.
Yeah.
Because I've been experienced to it through the industry, but never thought too hard about it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's something that happens.
It's a thing, man. Like when you get into it, it definitely becomes, for me anyway, obviously, it became something I was super passionate about, and started to eat into even real hunting. So.
Well, if that's the case, we've already discussed how much we're into that. If that's the case, it must be, it has an element of fun to it, I'm sure. An element of
the excitement.
Yeah. I mean, I love, not that I would sell pounds of mushrooms, but morel mushroom hunting was huge for me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It seems the same way. You're looking for a certain type
for sure.
Look at a certain type of item laying around in the woods.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to be out there hiking too, and getting to know country, and
for sure.
It's an excellent tool for finding new places to hunt.
Yeah.
So
is there any resources for the novice shed hunter to go out, other than following your stuff and learn from you? Is there message boards, places people can go to really learn?
Social media is really good for that. I have people, asking questions all the time, just in the comment sections, things like that. There's some websites out there that offer mapping systems. I don't know. Onyx is good. It's a good tool. Scout to Hunt's a good tool. There's a few out there that people can use to find areas where the animals would typically winter. Good starting points. But most of what you're going to do is going to put down a ton of miles and figure it out.
How many pounds of antlers, or probably tons of antlers, do you think are sold to China a year?
A lot.
Ton.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I just barely sold 1,200 pounds, which was a pretty small amount. I bought some of it, and I found some of it, and I got to think how much is probably in a
if that's just
shipping
you,
container, maybe 40,000 pounds in a container, and just it's crazy. It's a lot of it coming out, and the U.S. is the major supplier of it.
Yeah. New Zealand, they do too. A lot of the velvet stuff.
Yeah, I've been dying to get to New Zealand. I actually I've wanted to just contact one of these people that have a hunting ranch or offer hunts and just go shed hunt in New Zealand.
Just go shed hunt there?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Should do it. Super easy. I'll hook you up with some guys I know down there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I wonder if you ever think about doing content following those antlers as they go. Not that you have to fly to China and see who's grinding them up, but did you ever think about, because it's interesting to me, the entire picture is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Of going out and finding sheds, understanding the animal better, understanding the land better, finding the sheds. That's all kind of germane to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But selling them to somebody in Asia.
Yeah, what are they doing with them?
What are they doing with them?
Yeah.
What exactly are they doing? Like, how does it gets put in a shipping container and goes, and then what happens? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know as well. I know they're ground and obviously they go through a process, but I don't know
where they end up.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's a ShedCrazy series.
It could be. I might find out some things I don't want to know about.
Hey.
You know, maybe
you'll find some stuff.
Well. Maybe they're like blood diamonds and there's horrible things going on over there.
Maybe it'll be really cool. You'll meet some couple that got pregnant off,
like,
one of your
the
sheds.
Reason we have a family.
Oh my God.
Wow. This is going to get so many views on YouTube.
Meet all our kids. Help. Muley. Yeah, maybe you'll find out some awesome things.
Yeah, you never know.
Tons of people over there that are just, I don't know, they snorted or putting in pills. I gotta find out.
Well, I think that I don't know. It's kind of low on the totem pole of places I'm going to go explore.
Yeah, I would say so.
I've got a lot of hunts to go on first. If I run out of hunts,
then you go panda.
I'll do that.
Panda preserve.
I've been looking at a wild panda hunt for a while, but they do want a lot of money for them.
Keep looking.
Yeah.
Panda. Why don't they want to have sex, the pandas?
I don't know. They're like the world's laziest bear.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day.
Right. They won't do anything.
Yeah.
That guy got in a panda cage in China. I saw a video of it, and the panda didn't even do anything. Like, went over and like hugged the guy.
Why will a grizzly bear? Is a panda bear a marsupial? I don't know. This makes me sound stupid.
I don't know. I know they're not like a true bear.
Yeah. Well, then where'd they, like, I got it. Write in, anybody who,
if you have
obviously, if you're listening to this and you're in Asia, and you have panda knowledge and also knowledge of the ground up shed antler market, please write in.
Yeah, for those very obscure sections.
Yeah, because we get a few downloads in Asia every once in a while.
Yeah, there you go.
The chances are somebody will listen to this and have answers to all our antler questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, panda bears are terrible animals.
The worst bear.
The worst bear.
Right.
A grizzly bear would rip the shit out of a panda bear.
Oh, it wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. It's like, yeah, we'll just go extinct.
We're fine. We're fine.
Their perspective.
We're fine. I could have sex with this other panda bear, but nah.
Pretty tired today.
Yeah. I've had a long day here at the zoo.
I love it. They're like full vegetarian. Like, you could go catch some food. Like, nah.
No, I'm sitting against this tree.
Bamboo.
Leaves fall down. I
I'll
catch
eat
them
those.
and eat. And if you put another panda bear on top of me, we might.
Probably not.
We might do it, but dude, you're probably going to have to give me a sleeping pill or grind up an antler and give it to yourself.
Maybe that's what they do with them.
Whoa.
Panda breeding, full circle.
Panda Viagra.
Yeah.
Full circle. Well, that's a good place to end it.
That's as good as anywhere, I guess.
Panda Viagra. Well, thanks for coming on. It's good shooting with you the last couple of days, get to know you, and glad to have you in our world making fun of everybody. Please
I appreciate
be sure
it, man.
Make fun of me. It'd be a privilege.
Will do. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Fun. Yep.
That's it. That is all. Episode number 19 is in the books. Thank you so much to my friend Ben for coming on and hanging out and creating what I would imagine the character of ShedCrazy. It is funny, dude. I laugh at that dude's Instagram once a day. He's great. If you want to hear anything else from us here at The Hunting Collective, check us out. We are at thehuntingcollective.com. We got articles, videos, and of course podcasts there. Podcasts from Steve Ranella, Remy Warren, Ryan Callahan, John Dudley, Shane Mahoney, Aubrey Marcus, Fred Eichler. We got a bunch of stuff there for you to listen to and hopefully enjoy. So keep writing in. Please keep writing in. Keep emailing. Keep sending me Instagram messages. Keep talking to me about this conversation that is the Hunting Collective, bringing new ideas to the table. I really do appreciate it. And we will see you for episode number 20 next Tuesday. Hopefully a surprise guest to talk about public lands. We'll see if it happens. Stay tuned.
After 3 years of work, our follow-up to the Meat Eater Fish and Game Cookbook is here. It's the Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, campfire, and camp stove. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry, with pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Get your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com or buy it wherever books are sold.